I've been asked to do one final 21-26 video on modern methods of construction, MMC, and some updates in IMS as a result of that. My name's Susan Roberts. This video was recorded in December 2024 and reflects IMS at this point in time for just the 21-26 programme. So in terms of what I'm going to look at, I'm going to look at what has changed on the screens in IMS and look at the additional validations that are in IMS. Some of that I'll show you in IMS, some of that will just be in the presentation. So what has changed since the original videos for the 21-26 programme were created? So MMC information is still input into firm offer lines. It's not part of indicative offer lines, and it can then be updated or input for the first time at the profile stage of IMS. And you can change that right up to the point of the claims on the schemes. So right through to practical completion. So the MMC information might be different on a profile on an offer line for different unit types. So the information that was originally at offer line or profile level has now moved so that it's under each individual unit type, and I'll show you where it is in IMS shortly. The data is in the same format at both offer line and profile stages. No additional bits that have to be input. So if you originally input MMC data that wasn't at a unit level, so it was at the offer line or the profile level, the information is no longer visible in IMS. It is actually still there in the background data. If we were to run reports on it, it does still show. But obviously it's not consistent with the data that we've got now, which is a bit more detailed. The questions and options are now structured differently to the way they originally were. So let me take you into an offer line that I'm in the process of creating in IMS to show you what the data looks like now. So I'm now in IMS on a unit entry that I'm just in the process of setting up. So first of all, to notice at the top, we've got the unit details and the rent both showing as tabs in black, and then we've got revenue, funding, client group, happy principals, which are all there before, and now MMC all in grey. So they're grey because we're not required at this point to fill those in. Things will change as I complete this question down here. So the final question is, are methods of modern construction used? So if I change that to yes, what happens is the MMC tab becomes available. So let me click on the save button. Okay, so it wants me to put the rent information first. And not exempt from the right to shared ownership, and then click on save. Okay, so it's now moved me through its validations as I'm saving to the MMC tab. I've got the standard categories that you will hopefully be used to seeing elsewhere. So category 1 and category 2 are mutually exclusive. So as I click on one, the other one, it won't let me select any information. But as I click on one of them, and they both work in exactly the same way, you'll have seen that the manufacturer opens up. So we're going to fill some data in here to see what happens. So basic only. So I'll just tick one there. And it will only let me tick one, as you can see. So they are exclusive. Then it says manufacturer, and it wants me to right click for existing manufacturers. So I'm going to right click, and what you can see is all the manufacturers that have already been set up in the system. So let me find one manufacturer. So I'm going to use Husk and click on OK, and that instantly transfers that across. So if I find I've picked the wrong manufacturer, all I need to do is right click and remove the manufacturer's name. Okay, so deleting it brings up other everything again. So if the manufacturer that you're looking for is not listed, and there are quite a few on there, what you can do is you can select other, and it will ask you to note who that is. So I've just put a dummy one in there. Okay. So obviously you'd put in a correct name. Okay, so it puts it down as other dash ABC. Okay, so you then look at the bottom and look at whether any of those categories apply to your site. These aren't mutually exclusive like they were under those. So my site's going to have the category 3 and category 4 as well as category 2. So and I need to add a pre-manufactured score. So if I click on the box and I put 75 in there and then click on save. Okay, so it does take me off there, but if I go back, the MMC data is still there. So right through to practical completion, you can change this information that's in the system. So in terms of validation changes, so obviously moving where MMC data sat meant we had to change some validations, and they are now done for MMC, are done in IMS when you both save and validate offer lines and profile data. They are slightly different validations at both stages. There are also some validations when you save and submit on schemes in IMS. Because there's been a change in MMC as of November 24, there's now an MMC validation that only comes in on practical completions. Now, I didn't do this, but one of the options on the list about MMC was unknown. And ultimately, you will not be able to claim your scheme or anything like that, including practical completion, while it's set at unknown. But because we've got different stages that can happen in the system, so you will get one of those messages on your schemes sometimes with a red box at the top of the screen, advising you to go back to make changes on your profile. If you're trying to make a claim on a scheme and you're getting that unknown. All those validation warnings in the system and on schemes will need to be resolved by updating and submitting information on the relevant profile. And those submitted changes may need Homes England approval, depending on what they are and whether they're in combination with other things. So I can't take you through all of those individually within IMS because there's quite a lot of different scenarios there. But just remember, never do the scheme as unknown, and you could be asked to update information right up to the stage of practical completion if you've used unknown for MMC. So that's the end of this short video. Thank you.